In Capital News tonight, former Prime Minister Frederick Sumaye leaves Chadema Party. The director of Skoll Builders Contractors Limited collapses after discovering payments have been slashed. And in sports, all regions in Tanzania mainland and Zanzibar have confirmed participation in the 3rd Women's Athletics Championship. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's get things started with the national news. The former Prime Minister of the United Republic of Tanzania, Frederick Sumaye, has officially announced that he is leaving the main opposition party, Chama cha Demokrasia na Maendeleo, Chadema, due to various reasons, among them being lack of democracy within the party. He also said that he will not be joining any other political party. Speaking apart from Mr. Sumaye, who was the party's chairman of Dar es Salaam and Coast Zone, the secretary of the same zone, Kasmiri Mabina, has also written a letter resigning from his position and wishing to remain as a member on claims of dissatisfaction on how the party elections were held.
Sasa ni dhahiri hakuna demokrasia ile ambayo unaitegemea iwe.
From what has happened, it is obvious that there is no democracy. A lot of efforts are needed, although the Constitution allows any party member to vie for any position. It is not a mistake for me to go to another political party, but I have decided not to get involved with any political party. I would rather take my time off the politics arena. With the current condition, I decided to hand in my resignation later. I did reveal my intention to the Secretary General of the party on the election day, although there were dialogues involved, but finally, today I brought the letter. Honestly, I did expect this from the previous election in Kibaha. However, I was surprised to see the Vice Zonal Secretary resigning. I didn't see that coming.
The director of Skoll Builders Contractors Limited collapsed today after he was told that 82 million shillings has been cut from his payments for construction of the Swaswa Martin Luther King Road in Dodoma City because he has delayed completion of the project. Speaking at the construction site, the Minister of Regional Administration and Local Government, Suleiman Jafo, also gave him a deadline to complete the project within 26 days.
From 30th December, I will give you 20 more days, while you will pay for the delayed period. I want this road to be completed by that time. By 30th, if this job will not be complete, Skoll Company will be banned from giving any kind of tender anywhere in this country. It is not possible for constructions of 1.8 kilometers road take this long to be finished, while every contractor has finished their pieces of job. Take that man to hospital, and the rest should make sure that my directive is implemented. It seems that there will be more problems once these constructions are completed, because if you look at the bridge, if heavy rains comes, then there shall be a disaster to people living nearby. Something good is that these contractors are not charging the government interest, but according to the laws, they have every right to charge interest because the government has failed to pay them on time.
Chadema Secretary General Dr. Vincent Mashinyi told Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court in Dar es Salaam he was not a part of the protocol during the meeting to close local government election campaigns for the party, which were held at Buibui grounds, but that he went as a leader in order to provide motivation. Testifying before Resident Magistrate Thomas Simba, led by the attorney for the defense, Peter Kibatala, Dr. Mashinyi said he went to the meeting from his office and found former Prime Minister Frederick Sumaye addressing the public, after which he was welcomed to speak to the supporters attending the meeting. He told the court that it was not possible for him to see other leaders present from the podium. Answering questions on the testimony of the seventh witness from the prosecution on the introduction letters and oath documents from the party's representatives, which were meant to be with the returning officer. Dr. Mashinyi said the testimony was not accurate based on the letters submitted in court from the Director to the Secretary General and asked the court not to accept it. The public prosecutor Farajan Chimbi told the court that the testimony provided by the sixth defense witness, Dr. Mashinyi, has clearly shown that it cannot be accepted by the court, as even the first defense witness did not state how the documents arrived at court. Resident Magistrate Simba said he would rule on admission of the documents as evidence on December 5th of this year. And the police force in Morogoro region has detained 33 people allegedly for sabotaging Mtibwa sugar factory by stealing oil and irrigation pipes, as well as involvement in illegal fishing on the dam distributing water to the factory's sugarcane farms. The suspects were caught after an operation organized by a special task force formed by the police to prevent criminal acts at factories in Morogoro region.
These people were conducting illegal fishing. Also, in our patrols, we have arrested people stealing aluminium pipes in irrigation schemes and sold the items as scrap metals. At the patrol, a fuso vehicle with registration number T647BGQ was seized, carrying 930 scrap metals, and 3 suspects were arrested. The country is trying to build an industrial economy. In order to reach government's target, we must all focus on the main target. Once there are intelligent people trying to retard these efforts, then they are hypocrites to the nation.
The Minister of Minerals, Dr. Biteko, is directed for the dismissal of 4 employees from the Mining Commission who were involved in a go-slow, causing delays in provision of mining licenses from the Commission. Minister Biteko gave the directive in Dodoma City today during a meeting with 116 new Mining Commission employees, as well as receiving 36 vehicles and equipment which will be used to collect mineral resources.
Zungumza, kuna maombi ya leseni ya watu yako pending 3,410.
3,410 license requests are pending. People are crying for the opportunity, but there is one person at the headquarters demanding for bribes to release the licenses. Now I am directing a reshuffle of responsibilities. All those who are in regional offices should be brought to the headquarters, and those at the headquarters to be assigned in regional offices.
Tanzania Wildlife Research Institute, TAWIRI, has launched a 5-year strategic plan on conservation of giraffes. The studies show a global decline on the animals. The strategic plan was launched in Arusha at a science forum organized by TAWIRI, who also handed over a certificate of appreciation to ITV for the station's contribution to the forum.
We have decided to come up with a strategy of preserving giraffe because since 2016, global giraffe statistics showed that they have decreased in number. Scientifically, before the reviews, giraffes were among the least concerned animals because there were many. But in 2016 report, it rang the alarm to watch over these animals. With the current boasts of security at the reserves, wild animals are now living in peace, reproducing in big numbers, where sometimes they have been invading people's lands and farms, causing hazardous impacts to human, ending up causing conflicts between wild animals and human. Thus, this is another key area that needs support, because once the animals cause disasters to human, then it is easy for them to be harmed.
In an increasingly competitive world of higher education, France is aware of the high level of Tanzanian talents, which will be an asset to the international curricula of many prestigious universities and schools. This was said by the French ambassador to Tanzania, Frédéric Clavier, in Dar es Salaam during a special event to celebrate the France Alumni Network in Tanzania, the Alliance Française, where he also invited all prospective students to the first French-Tanzanian higher education fair that will be held on Saturday, December 14th at the Julius Nyerere Conference Center.
As more and more Tanzanian students are interested to pursue their studies in France and to choose the country of science, techniques, arts and literature to follow their dreams. This year, the French Embassy granted 30 students a scholarship to study agriculture, environmental sciences focused on climate change, engineering, aeronautics, and French as foreign language.
And that is all for the national news. International news is next. And in international news, just a week after the Building the Bridges initiative, BBR report, was launched to the public in Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta has again called on politicians to stop bringing politics into the report, and instead they should allow Kenyans to read it and make their own decisions. President Uhuru Kenyatta made the call when addressing residents at Mangu area in Kiambu County.
Zindua hii kitu inaitwa BBI. Hata haikumaliza weekend tukasema watu wakasome. Sasa wajuaji wanazunguka kila pahali wakituambia ati vile tutafanya. Na ndipo mimi nasema jameni, tujisomee sisi wenyewe.
Climate change is at the top of the agenda in Europe this week with the opening of the COP25 in Madrid. On the first day, 200 countries pledged a green revolution. But just how can that be implemented? Emmanuel Shaze, our Deutsche Welle correspondent, joins us with more. Emmanuel, what can this conference hope to achieve, and can you give us a little bit of insight about it?
Well, definitely what it wants to achieve is a clear commitment. You announced it. 200 countries pledged for a green revolution. That's one concrete commitment they're making, but that has to translate into concrete measures. That means clarifying the existing rules when it comes to climate change, and that comes with setting an agenda to implement the necessary changes. So to give you an idea, here in Europe, the UK is aims at cutting its greenhouse gas emissions right down to net zero by 2050. That means they aim at not producing more greenhouse gas than the Earth can absorb. Here in Germany aims at cutting down by 40% its greenhouse gas emissions by 2020, that is next year, and by 55% by 2030. But in industrialized countries such as Germany, it's very difficult to scale down such industry. And in Poland, neighboring country here, the Polish Minister for Environment vowed that the goal for his country was to develop new energy resources, while his country, Poland, relies heavily on the coal industry. By 80% of the energy in the country comes from coal energy. Now, UN General Secretary Antonio Guterres said that he was disappointed by what the COP had achieved so far, and he said, I quote, "Do we really want to be the generation that buries its head in the sand?" End quote. So he pledged for much more by the leaders attending the COP25.
So trading carbon emissions, the so-called carbon market, is one of the solutions discussed at this year's conference. What does that imply, and what are the consequences for the countries involved?
Well, there are advantages and disadvantages in that carbon market system. Some countries have the possibility to trade their carbon imprints with countries that emit less greenhouse gas emissions, and that allows countries that exceed their own climate targets to sell excess emission reductions to nations struggling to meet their goals. And one of the ideas of the Paris Climate Agreement was that it allowed countries to submit their own target rather than tell countries what their targets should be. Another thing that the COP25 aimed to develop is the initiative of sustainable development mechanism globally. For example, rich countries should be able to help poorer nations by providing what is called a climate finance to help those countries to adapt to climate change by switching to renewable energies.
And so what do environmentalists make of this?
Well, of course, they're happy that leaders of the world do meet up to talk about climate change, but they promote stricter rules, and above all, they want those rules to be implemented, and civic movements against climate change are still going strong. And for example, a Swedish teen activist, Greta Thunberg, will address the COP25 in Madrid.
Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel, for that insight into the COP25. Until next time, goodbye.
Thank you.
That special report ends our international news. We'll be back with business news after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. The Fair Competition Commission, the FCC chairman, Professor Humphrey Moshi, has said that in order to prevent poor quality products ordered through the internet, it is important to ensure there is effective cooperation between the government and various service and business stakeholders in the country.
Fair Competition Commission and Regulatory Authority, we all have the responsibility of recognizing, revealing and taking action towards challenges of online market. Thus, it is our responsibility to come up with best international practices. Meanwhile, this meeting will bring about new strategies.
And ongoing beekeeping projects being implemented by Tanzanians, which are funded by Tanzania's Social Action Fund, TASAF, have attracted development stakeholders from international organizations, including the World Bank, which has said there is need to increase efforts in supporting the projects.
To get an opportunity to visit villages that are part of the program to see what results and outcome that the program can deliver to the village beneficiaries. And it's been very inspiring today, and thank you very much to Mikosheni village for receiving us and for spending time with us explaining the beehive project. And it's been inspiring to see how a joint village project like this can create opportunities for increased income that can then be invested in the families and in the villages for improved education and health and other benefits.
The 2019 Tanzania Industrial Technology Expo is expected to start tomorrow at the Mwalimu Nyerere Trade Fair grounds in Dar es Salaam, with Tanzanians called upon to turn up and see products manufactured by local industries.
Work done by the fifth phase government in establishing industries from small, middle to large industries. Many of them have been introduced for the purpose of adding value of products from agriculture, fisheries, livestock and minerals.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news is next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose some length.
And in sports, all regions in Tanzania mainland and Zanzibar have confirmed participation in the 3rd Women's Athletics Championships organized by the National Sports Council in collaboration with Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA.
Many of you may recall the first ever international athlete medal, which was brought in Tanzania, was won by a female athlete, Miss Teresa Dismas, in 1965 at the All Africa Games in Congo, Brazzaville. However, since that time, Tanzanian women athletes have not reached that height, although the female population surpasses that of the male population in Tanzania.
Neema Dennis has helped Tanzania finish 2nd in the Women's East Africa Zone Table Tennis Championships held in Uganda.
Reaching the finals is not an easy task. The main thing is more training is needed, as well as support to women. We are very low, but as they say, if a woman is enhanced, she can. I wish to reach far as a woman. Let us keep praying for one another so that we can perform even better than this.
Anthony Joshua gave little away about his new slimline physique or his tactics to defeat Andy Ruiz Jr. in the rematch in the briefest of public workouts in Saudi Arabia. He was, however, happy to advertise his powers of prophecy, predicting a trilogy with the Mexican-American, whatever the results of the fight on Saturday. Here's more on this story.
Boxing in a ring in front of a huge government complex in Riyadh, Joshua said Ruiz had been on his mind since he stepped in as late replacement to meet him in June, and would continue to be whatever the result of the WBA, IBF and WBO heavyweight title fight in Diriyah. This isn't the last time I'll be seeing Andy Ruiz in the ring, Joshua said. 30-year-old Joshua looked relaxed and lean, but denied he was deliberately looking for more speed. As he left the stage, Joshua posed for selfies with a delighted crowd of local supporters and also stopped briefly to speak to Dillian White, his fellow heavyweight, who was also on the bill against Marius Watch.
Marco Silva believes Everton's players have not lost faith in his methods and they can transform their season by going face-to-face with Liverpool in pursuit of the club's first Anfield win in 20 years.
There is an intense pressure going into the 234th Merseyside derby, with Everton 2 points above the relegation zone after 7 defeats in their past 10 league games. Liverpool, by stark contrast, are 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League and beaten at Anfield in 47 league games and equalled the club record of 31 league games unbeaten with victory against Brighton on Saturday. Liverpool have also lost only one of the past 25 league derbies, 9 in the past 9 years, and last tasted an Anfield defeat against Everton in September 1999 when Walter Smith was the visiting manager.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. I'm Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and good night.
Watch Capital News live on our social media accounts.